Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast, special edition show, 2025 MLB season's predictions. I apologize, it's very, very late, but at least we get it done before opening day. I'm not going to go crazy like I used to. I'm going to go division by division, talk about the teams a little bit, then do my playoff predictions, World Series winner, and then I'll do my awards as well. We'll start in the American League East. In first place, I have with the record of 92-70 the New York Yankees. I think too many people are down on the Yankees. I know they lost Garrett Cole. I know they lost Juan Soto for different reasons. One was free agency, one was obviously TJS, Tommy John surgery. Luis Hill out to start the year. But people are acting like they lost a quarterback in football and are writing them off. And like, oh, they're downgraded to a wild card team because they're in a weak American League and yada yada. I still think this is the team to beat in the division. They have the best player in the division. They have a player that is equivalent to a quarterback on their team. That's Aaron Judge. But this team is still good. I mean, they added Max Fried. They added Devin Williams to improve their bullpen. They added Cody Bellinger, Paul Goldschmidt, Jason Dominguez full season. Aaron Judge back to right field. Who knows when Giancarlo Stanton comes back. But so, I mean, they have guys that are come back other than Cole. But we'll see. I just think they'll be healthier by the end of the season. And I think my guess is that they get off to a slow start. I'll put it this way, I wouldn't be shocked if they're barely over 500 by Memorial Day, and I'm going to say they get super hot late and they win the division. But I've seen teams do that before. So I think that they're going to win the division. Second place, 90-72. I have the Baltimore Orioles. The Orioles are good. My issue with them, they did not replace Corbin Burns. They're banking a lot on Grayson Rodriguez to make that leap to ace status. Charlie Morton, Dean Kremer, Zach Eflin. They get Felix Bautista back in their bullpen. That's a big deal. Great young core, obviously. And there's a lot of guys that need playing time that might not see it. So I could see them trading somebody like Hessen Kjerstad or Colton Cowser for a pitcher. And to me, there's a lot of pressure on Jackson Holliday to make some sort of leap. If he doesn't make a leap, they're in trouble. He needs to make a leap, not as big as Aaron Judge did from 16 to 17, but something significant from last year. Or else we're going to be talking about him as a disappointing player. In third place in the division, I have, with a record of 85-77, the Boston Red Sox. I feel like the Boston Red Sox are the hot pick in this division. Everybody's picking them to win the division. Like, I have them in the playoffs. I have them as a wild card, but everybody is lauding them like they just won the World Series or something, or they were just in the World Series. But Garrett Crochet has not been on a good team in his life. Walker Buehler's never healthy. Lucas Giolito, at best, is a mid-rotation guy. They have a lot of names in their rotation, but will that factor into results? I've seen Red Sox teams with high expectations falter all the time. This might be another one. Aroldis Chapman's another one. People think he's going to be great. Like, what the hell has he done the last couple of years other than shit the bed in big spots? But their offense is good. Don't get me wrong. They bring in Alex Bregman. They have Devers. Trevor Story, we'll see. They have a lot of young guys they like. Cedric Raphael, William Abreu, Jaron Duran. And they obviously have Yoshida there too. But it looks like that they're moving Devers to DH. Which is interesting because that puts Bregman in his normal position. Now they need a second baseman though. There's holes on this Red Sox team. I mean, they do have the farm system to make a splash at the deadline, but we'll see about that. Fourth place, 75-87, the Toronto Blue Jays. The Blue Jays have some names on their roster, but they never really put it together. They bring in Max Scherzer in their rotation, go Kevin Gausman, Jose Barrios. Alek Manoah was awful last year, and now he's on the injured list. Like, he's on the 60-day IL. So we might not see him for a while. So we'll see if he contributes for them. Bullpen has some guys in it. Zach Pop's good. Chad Green, former Yankee. Yimi Garcia, Jeff Hoffman's their closer. And obviously offensively is their strength. They have Vlad Jr. We'll see if they extend him or trade him. That's going to be a big story for the Jays. Bo Bichette's there. George Springer they brought in a few years ago from Houston. Anthony Sander's an upgrade in the outfield as well. So they have some guys. They might surprise, but you never know. I just think that the other three teams in the division are better. And then in the cellar in the division, I have with a record of 72-90 the Tampa Bay Rays. I just don't think the Rays are as good as they used to be. Shane McClanahan's starting the year on the IL. Their bullpen has a lot of mix and match guys. Some guys I like. Offensively, they bring in Chris Monroe in that Cubs trade last year. They did get rid of Randy Arozarena. They're worse. They're not as good as they used to be. Yandy Diaz is still there. Maybe he's traded. They're relying on a lot of young guys to make leaps. And I don't know if it's a lot of ifs, ands, or buts on this team. That's why I have them in last. Brandon Lowe's still on the team. Former Blue Jay Danny Jensen. And Shane Baz needs to step up in that rotation too, for me. AL Central, I have winning the division 91-71. The Detroit Tigers, yes, a surprise division winner of the AL Central. I'll tell you guys who the favorite in that division is on FanDuel when we get to that portion. The biggest reason why I like Detroit a lot, they have the dude, the best guy the best pitcher in baseball right now, Tariq Skubal. He is outstanding. Casey Mize needs to make a jump. Jack Flaherty's back after they traded him at the deadline last year. They have some guys in the bullpen. Kenta Maeda, Tommy Kahnle. Offensively, they should be better. They bring in Gleyber Torres from the Yankees, who was good in the playoffs for them last year. Riley Green, they want to be better. Kerry Carpenter's had moments. Spencer Torkelson was a high draft pick. They need him to make a jump. And they have the assets to go make a trade at the deadline. And Javier Baez, will he ever be good again? That's a big question mark for them as well. But they have the farm system to make a trade. Second place, 88-74, the Kansas City Royals. The Royals had a great season last year too, as did the Tigers. I like this Royals team. Cole Reagans is an ace. I like Seth Lugo, Mike Walker. They have a good rotation. Their bullpen's good. Carlos Estevez, Hunter Harvey. Sal Perez is still there. Vinny Pasquantino. A lot of people are thinking he might lead the Royals in home runs. We'll see. They get Jonathan India from the Reds. Bobby Witt Jr.'s one of the favorites for AL MVP. Hunter Renfroe's there. So this is a pretty good team. Third place I have at 81-81, the Cleveland Guardians. I think the Guardians are taking a step back. They, to me, feel like an every other year team. I saw some pundits pick them fourth, but I think that's a little disrespectful. But they had a good year last year, but I think they're going to take a step back. They just extended Tanner Bebe, I think. Gavin Williams is good. Shea Bieber's coming back from Tommy John. Emmanuel Clase, best closer in the game. Tristan McKenzie is in the bullpen now. They have a lot of guys that were so good for them in their playoff run last year. I think they just tired that bullpen out. Hunter Gaddis, Slade Cody. Offensively, they have some guys. Carl Santana, Jose Ramirez, Stephen Kwan, Lane Thomas, who was a trade deadline pickup last year. Nolan Jones they're relying on to be better as well. Fourth place, 78 and 80 for the Minnesota Twins. This team never stays healthy. This is a lot of sexy names, but they don't produce. But the argument for them is that they feel like an every other year kind of team too. They won a playoff series for the first time in forever. Not last season, the season before, I believe. Pablo Lopez is good in their rotation. Chris Paddock's in there. Joe Ryan, Bailey Ober. Offensively, they're good. I like Ryan Jeffers. Ty France is good. Jose Miranda can hit. Carlos Correa, can he stay healthy? Can Byron Buxton actually stay healthy for once? And obviously Royce Lewis, they're banking on. But he's starting the season on the injured list, which is unfortunate. And then bullpen, they have guys in there as well. And then in the bottom, 52 and 110, the White Sox of Chicago. I think they'll have a better record than last year, but that's not good enough. To be respectable, if you're the White Sox, somehow avoid 100 losses. Somehow find somebody that could be the future of your franchise. I mean, you just traded Garrett Crochet. Lewis Roberts still there, but he's probably going to be traded at the deadline. Maybe he'll go to the Tigers or something. Andrew Benintendi, they're going to trade. They'll trade Mike Tauchman. Miguel Vargas they got in that Dodgers trade. That's a nice prospect to have. Can he be the guy? Former Astro farmhand Corey Lee behind the plate. And they have guys in their rotation that could jump too. Bryce Wilson, former Brave. Martin Perez will be gone at the deadline. Drew Thorpe could be good for them. He got picked. He was a former Yankee farmhand. Then ended up with them. He was in the Soto deal and he was in the Cease deal. And then maybe some random dude breaks out in their bullpen. Who knows? ALS winner, 90 and 72 on the season. I have the Texas Rangers. I like this Rangers team a lot. I think they're poised to bounce back from a disappointing year last year. Rotation's really good. You have Nady Eovaldi, you have Jacob deGrom, Jack Leiter, Tyler Mahle, Cody Bradford is sneaking there, Patrick Corbin's there. John Gray's on the injured list. That's unfortunate. And they lose Scherzer, but I think they have the depth to overcome that. They just need Jack Leiter to be the guy that they are hoping he was when they drafted him high. Their bullpen's really good. They have Chris Martin. They have Luke Jackson. Offensively, they're good. They still have, obviously, Corey Seager and Marcus Semien. You have Jake Berger. That was a trade ad. Josh Jung's good. Evan Carter starting the season in the minors. Maybe he'll be brought up. Wyatt Langford, they like. Leody Tavares has been good. Adolis Garcia has had moments. And Jack Peterson's good at DH. This is a team that's really good, and they have an awesome manager in Bruce Bochy. Second place, 84 and 78 I have on the season, the Houston Astros. The Astros aren't the same anymore. I think their window's closed. I said that a couple years ago, and it bit me in the ass, obviously, but I generally don't think they're a contender anymore. They got swept out of the playoffs, or did they lose? Did they only win one game against the Tigers last year? Or was that in the... Yeah, that was in the wild card round. That wasn't even in the division round. That was in the wild card round. And Detroit went and played Cleveland and took them to 5. But yeah, their pitching staff's actually pretty good. You have, obviously, Christian Javier, who they like. Framber Valdez is good. Ronel Blanco had moments. Hayden Wisniewski, former Yankee farmhand. Spencer Arguetti had moments. Josh Hader wasn't good last year in his first year as a closer. Brian Abraves had moments. Offensively, they're just not the same. They got rid of Alex Bregman. They don't have Correa and Springer anymore, although they did win without those guys. They had Bregman then. Jose Altuve to left field. We'll see how that transitions. They got Isaac Paredes. And they added Christian Walker. We'll see how those additions pan out. But this is an entirely different Astros team. And Yordan Alvarez is probably their best all-around player now. Even though he's just a DH. He's the David Ortiz of this era. Of this generation. Third place in the division, 82-80, the Seattle Mariners. The Mariners I thought long and hard about as a surprise team. But how good are they offensively? I don't trust their offense. Cal Riley, they just paid. Jorge Polanco, they got from the Twins. J.P. Crawford never really has lived up to expectations. He was a high draft pick from the Phillies a long time ago. Randy Arozarena, good player. Julio Rodriguez, great player. Victor Robles, former Nats farmhand, didn't pan out. Mitch Garver's good. But yeah, there's a lot of question marks offensively. First base, second base, even shortstop they could have upgraded. Right field. Yeah, too many question marks for me offensively on this team. But I do like their rotation. You have Logan Gilbert, Luis Castillo, Bryce Miller, Brian Wu, Emerson Hancock, and George Kirby. You have 6 guys who are awesome. But if I'm the Mariners, I trade one of those guys. If you want to be good, trade one of those guys for a hitter. But who's the one that, if you're them, who do you trade? They're all righties anyway. So the one I would ideally trade would be Emerson Hancock. But all those guys could be great. Brian Wu was amazing for them last year. But the other somebody else would be like, yeah, I would trade Brian Wu. Luis Castillo, trading him is like saying, like, oh, we admitted defeat on a free agent signing. That's probably the hardest one to trade because of his contract. And then, and because of his age. And their bullpen's good, too. I like Andres Munoz. He's good. They had other guys that broke out for them last year. Matt Brash is good, too. Fourth, 70-92. The Oakland Athletics. Yes, I have the Oakland Athletics not in last place in the division. They have some promising guys. Shea Langoliers, Tyler Soderstrom, good players. Gio Urshela, veteran. Miguel Andujar, we kind of know what he is. I think he's a liability in left field. I don't like the fit with him in this team. J.J. Bleday, I like. Brent Rooker's a good DH. Pitching-wise, they brought in Luis Severino. He's going to start opening day. That was their big addition. That was their first big free agent move I can remember in a long time. Big for Oakland. J.P. Sears. And Mason Miller's one of the best closers in baseball. He was great last year. They're talking about a trade for him, but maybe if they're a surprise team, they keep him. Who knows? And maybe they trade in their farm system to upgrade. In the Cellar Division, 65-97, Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. I don't like this Angels team at all. Mike Trout's going to right field. I do like Corey Soler at DH. Joe Adell needs to be great. So does Taylor Ward. Zach Nato is a prospect they like. Yoan Moncada they get from the White Sox. They have a lot of names, but can they put it all together? Noah Cheniel. Logan O'Hoppe I like. They bring in Travis d'Arnaud as a backup. Yusei Kikuchi they signed as a free agent. He obviously got traded to Houston, and Houston gave up a shit ton for him. And then you have Tyler Anderson, veteran. Kyle Hendricks comes over from the Cubs. Reed Detmers, they wanted a leap from for a while. Kenley Jansen's their closer. He'll be traded at the deadline. All right, the NL East. I have winning the division, 95-67, the Philadelphia Phillies. I think the Phillies are getting disrespected. I do. Everyone's like, oh, they're old, aging core, failures in the playoffs, yada, yada. I like this Phillies team a lot. I love the Jesus Luzardo pickup. He's their number 2 guy. Aaron Nola slips in the rotation. I think they finally realized that Aaron Nola is not the ace like Garrett Cole, like Jacob deGrom in his Mets days. He could very well be this year with the Rangers. Max Scherzer and Justin Verlander in their heydays. Like, they realize Aaron Nola's not that. That's part of why they traded for Luzardo and signed Zach Wheeler and extended Zach Wheeler. Chris Sanchez is good. Taijuan Walker they're trying to trade. Ranger Suarez is really good. Their bullpen has some good guys. Matt Strong, Jordan Romano, Jose Alvarado. Tanner Banks has had moments. Offensively, is their strength. They have JT Realmuto, Bryce Harper, Alec Bohm, Trey Turner, Nick Castellanos, Kyle Schwarber. And they bring in Max Kepler from Minnesota. Bryson Stott's still there at second base. That's going to be interesting to see how this plays out for Philly. But they're a good team. I think they're the team to win this division. Second, 93-69, the New York Mets. I think the Mets are getting some disrespect too. I feel like everybody, them and the Yankees, I feel like they're both getting picked to finish third in their divisions. But I understand why people are picking the Yankees to finish in third, and that's because of their injuries. But the Mets are good. The Mets are a good baseball team. Looks like Clay Holmes is going to start for them on opening day, which is interesting, the former Yankees closer. They have Sean Manaea. Griffin Canning comes over from the Angels. Cody Senga, David Peterson. They're deep in their rotation. They have Frankie Montas, ex-Yankee. Edwin Diaz is still in there in the bullpen. Paul Blackburn was a trade ad from Oakland last year. Reed Garrett, former Red. Ryan Stanek, former Ray. AJ Minter. They have some dudes in their bullpen. Offensively, though, Juan Soto, enough said about that. He's an upgrade their offense in every way. You have him, you have Alonso. Francisco Alvarez is going to be better. I like Jeff McNeil. Of course, you have Frankie Lindor. Brandon Nimmo, they re-signed last year. Jesse Winker looks like he's going to be their DH. Him and Starling Marte. They have a little conundrum at center field. I would keep Brandon Nimmo in center and then put Tyrone Taylor in for defense at the end of games, and you just put in left field Jesse Winker and make Starling Marte your DH. That's what I would do if I'm the Mets. But the Mets are a good team. Excited to see them play. Third place, 1972 on the year. I have the Atlanta Braves. I think the Braves are overrated. I'm sorry. I think they're good, but everyone's picking them to win the division because of Acuna coming back and because of Strider coming back. All I'm saying is that, the Yankees are probably going to get that respect next year when Garrett Cole comes back. And say if the Yankees, I'm wrong about the Yankees, they finish in second or third like the Braves did last year, and everyone's picking them to the division because of Garrett Cole coming back. The same thing's happening here with the Braves with Strider. And obviously Acuna, too, and that's a big deal. But they lost Max Fried. I think people forgot about that. There's a lot of pressure on Chris Sale to be as good as he was last year. If he takes a step back, that team's in trouble. I'm telling you, they're relying heavily on Chris Sale to be the Chris Sale from last year and the Chris Sale from his prime with the White Sox and the Red Sox. But we'll see about that. And then Spencer Schwellenbach, they're relying on Grant Holmes, A.J. Smith-Scheuer. They get Rafael Iglesias last year. He's their closer. Pierce Johnson's a good pitcher. So is Aaron Bummer. They have some good pitchers in their bullpen. Offensively, they're good. They're talking about Drake Baldwin unseating Sean Murphy at catcher. That would be a big deal if he performs and Sean Murphy is demoted or traded. But offensively, they're great. They have Acuna coming back from injury. Matt Olson, Ozzie Albies, Austin Riley. They have Orlando Arcia at short. Michael Harrison center. Marcelo Zuna DH. But they're loaded offensively, but I just don't trust their starting pitching. Especially without Strider back right away and without Max Fried. 4th place in the NL East, 73 and 89 overall, the Washington Nationals. The Nationals, I think, are a year away from being last year's Tigers. I don't think they're there yet. They're just in a good division with 3 really good teams. And 3 teams that can conceivably make the World Series. Mackenzie Gore, they think, is their future ace. They get Michael Soroka. I think he'll be good for them, although I could see him being traded. Maybe even to the team like the Yankees if Luis Gil's still out for a while and they need help. I mean, I could see them or even the Red Sox or the Baltimore, one of those AL East teams going to get him. Trevor Williams, too. I think there's going to be a lot of for sale guys on this team. But they do have some foundation guys. Keibert Ruiz, C.J. Abrams, James Wood, Dylan Cruz. Josh Bell's going to be traded. Ahmed Rosario is probably going to be traded. So will Paul DeYoung. They have a lot of guys that were on the White Sox last year. Nate Lau, Luis Garcia they like. And obviously in the pen, Kyle Finnegan's good. They have some other guys I think could move. Colin Pache's had moments. Jorge Lopez has had moments. And in the cellar of the division, 57 and 105 overall, the Miami Marlins. I think this is the White Sox's competition for worst record. There's another team coming up that I think's in play as well. But this team stinks. I mean, who's their franchise guy? Xavier Edwards? They don't have Aaron Judge on their team that we can say, hey, at least we have him. They have that in their rotation. They have Sandy Alcantara, but he's probably going to get traded. Cal Quantrill will probably get traded. Edward Cabrera is good. They'll probably keep him. Ryan Weathers they might keep. Max Meyer. They have a couple guys. Braxton Garrett, 60-day IL. Adam Mazur starting in the minors. And then bullpen-wise, they'll probably have somebody break out and then they're going to trade them. But they're going to have a lot of guys get moved at the deadline. And I know they have a lot of teams' prospects, which helps them long term, but they're a long ways away NL Central. In first place, I have the record of 93-69, the Milwaukee Brewers. I think the Brewers are being disrespected. They should be the team to beat in this division. They won the division last year and the year before, if I'm not mistaken. And they've had a lot of success, and Pat Murphy did a fantastic job in his first year. The rotation isn't bad. They have Nestor Cortez, that's a big ad from the Yankees. Aaron Savali's good. Freddie Peralta is a good veteran. Jose Quintana is the guy that can spot start. Brandon Woodruff, obviously, is a big name. Trevor McGill's now their closer now that they traded Devin Williams. I think that's why they're getting disrespected, because they traded Devin Williams, who, by the way, gave up a huge home run in the playoffs last year to Pete Alonso. But they have a great offense. They have William Contreras, Rhys Hoskins, Bryce Terang they're relying on to be a guy. Jackson Chourio is the guy that they think is the guy, though. Christian Yelich is still there. Garrett Mitchell they like. Sal Frelick they like. It looks like Yelich is DHing, which is interesting. Second place in the division, 86-76 overall, the Chicago Cubs. I think the Cubs are getting too much favoritism, kind of like the Red Sox in the American League. Everyone's just penciling them in and to win their division because they're a big market team that has a lot of big names and doesn't have anybody injured. But yeah, the rotation's good. Justin Steele, Jameson, Tyon, Shota Imanaga showed ace potential last year. But there's a lot of guys offensively that need to come through. Michael Bush, Miguel Amaya, who they like. Matt Shaw, who they like. Dansby Swanson was a free agent ad. Ian Happ's been on the trade block forever, it feels like. Sia Suzuki was brought in. Kyle Tucker was their big ad. Pete Armstrong, big-time prospect. And bullpen-wise, Brian Presley's their closer. They get him from Houston. That was a big ad. Nate Pearson I like. But this is a good team, but I don't know if they're a playoff team, per se. Third place, I have 82-80, the Cincinnati Reds. The Reds might be the team where I'm going to say, I wish I had them with more wins. So the big story here is that they get Terry Francona to come in as their manager. And I like T-Dot. He's fun. He's a great manager. He needs to get a lot of these young guys, that's for sure. They get Jose Trevino from the Yankees. He's a veteran, been in big games. Tyler Stephenson's starting here on the IL, which is unfortunate. Christian Encarnacion stand, I like. Matt McClain. They get Gavin Lux from the Dodgers. Ellie De La Cruz has potential. Austin Hayes is supposed to be their starting left fielder. He's on the injury list. TJ Friedel, center. Heimer Candelario looks like he's been their DH. He's bounced around a little bit. Hunter Green, Brady Singer, two good guys in their rotation. Nick Lodolo, they're relying on to make a jump. Andrew Abbott's hurt. That's a big deal. And so is their closer, Alexis Diaz. I didn't know he was starting here on the injured list. That's not good. Maybe I shouldn't have had them 82-80. Taylor Rogers is good. Emilio Pagan's good. Brent Sutter's good. They have a good bullpen, too. So they have the depth to overcome the Diaz injury. But I don't think they're as good as the top two teams in our division. Fourth place I have with the record of 77-85, the St. Louis Cardinals. I think the Cardinals are like the Astros in this conference. A lot of big-name veterans. You know they're going to be playing with a lot of pride, like Houston. But I just think their window's closed. Nolan Arenado wants out of there. I mean, will he end up on the Yankees? Will he end up on somebody else's team? We'll see. Philly, I heard thrown out. Maybe the Tigers, if they have a chance to upgrade that position or up position. Wilson Contreras, they got as a free agent from the Cubs a few years ago. Nolan Gorman, they like as a prospect. Mason Wynn was a big prospect. Lars Nootbaar, not a fan. But yeah, there's a lot of like holes on their roster. This is not the Cardinals of old. And then Paul Goldschmidt's on the Yankees now. And Contreras, by the way, is at first base. Their catchers will be Pedro Pages. Rotation-wise, Sonny Gray, Miles Mikolas. I think those guys could be traded. Eric Feed. Matt Liberatore is probably the only one that's probably going to stay around. Because they got him in that Rays trade a while ago. Bullpen, Ryan Helsley, good closer. Phil Maton's a good veteran. Jojo Romero's at moment. Steven Matz, former Mets, in there as well. And in the cellar in this division, 74 and 88, the Pittsburgh Pirates. I just don't think they're ready yet. They're close to. They're kind of like the Nats. But I think because of Paul Skeens and his development, they're further along than the Nats to be like the Tigers of last year. But I think this team has a chance to do it, though. But it also depends on situations like if Milwaukee's not as good as we thought, Cubs aren't as good as we thought, Cards are worse than I thought, Reds aren't as good as I thought. I mean, the Pirates have a chance to do it. But like I said, I think they're a year away. Kind of like the Nats. But they're closer because of Skeens. And you also have Mitch Keller in that rotation still. Bailey Falter, veteran. Andrew Heaney's a vet. Jared Jones is hurt. Who knows when he's coming back. He's to avoid elbow surgery, which is good. But the injury's not good, nonetheless. You have Joey Bart, the former Giants fireman, a catcher. Nick Gonzalez, former high draft pick. And Brian Hayes, they like. Former Yankee Isaiah Kiner-Falefa at short. Tommy Fonz probably get traded. O'Neal Cruz, they like. Brian Reynolds has been around for a while. Andrew McCutcheon's their DH. Bullpen-wise, David Bednar still their closer. Caleb Ferguson, former Yankee, former Dodger. Dennis Santana. But yeah, they might be the best last-place team. They might be a better team than the Rays because of Skeens and because of some of their guys offensively. This is probably the best last-place team. All right, the NL West. I'm winning division. The only team I have with 100 wins in baseball this year, 105 and 57, the Los Angeles Dodgers, of course. They're the best team in baseball. They're arguably the best team in all sports right now. They, I think, have replaced the Kansas City Chiefs as the best team in all of sports because KC just got blown out in the Super Bowl. And I don't think the Celtics are the best team in all sports. And the Washington Capitals really haven't done anything with this core, even though they are really good right now. But this is the best team in all professional sports right now. Not even close. Blake Snell, big addition. Yoshi Yamamoto was great last year. Roki Sasaki, Rookie of the Year candidate. You're going to have Ohtani pitching every once in a while. We still have guys that are coming back from injury. Tony Gonsolin. Eventually, Clayton Kershaw is going to come back. Offensively, this is like the rock star team. Will Smith, Freddie Freeman, Tommy Edman, Max Muncy, Mookie Betts, Michael Conforto, Teoscar Hernandez, Kiki Hernandez, although it says Andy Pages is their center fielder, which makes sense because he's a big prospect. And, of course, we talked about Ohtani. And bullpen's loaded. Tanner Scott, big addition. Kopech's on the injury list, which is unfortunate. So is Evan Phillips and Brito Graterol. Their bullpen's in bad shape a little bit. But they have the depth to overcome those three injuries. With Trine and Scott, Kirby Yates, Anthony Vanda, Luis Garcia. They have a lot of depth to overcome that. Second place in the division, I have the record of 90 and 72, the Arizona Diamondbacks. I love this Diamondbacks team. If they were in the American League East, I probably would pick them to win that division. Or the National League, not the National League, maybe the American League, any American League division I pick them in. That's how I feel about the Diamondbacks. They're just in this division with the rock stars, the Dodgers. But yeah, this team's really freaking good. They add Corbin Burns to their rotation with Zach Gallen and Merrill Kelly and E-Rod. Jordan Montgomery's out for the year, Tommy John surgery. That's unfortunate. They have A.J. Puke in their bullpen. Shelby Miller, Bryce Jarvis. Joe Mantiply was an all-star a few years ago. Offensively, they're good. Corbin Carroll's a franchise guy. Pavin Smith was a high draft pick. Randy Grichuk has bounced around a little bit. What's the plan for Alec Thomas, former highly touted prospect? Geraldo Perdomo, Eugenio Suarez, Cato Marte's really good. Josh Naylor's bounced around, but he has some power. Gabe Monero behind the plate, the former Blue Jay. But yeah, this team's loaded. Third place, 86 and 76 on the season, the San Diego Padres. The Padres are good. They're good. I like this team. Their offense is good. They have a good left side of the infield. Manny Machado, Xander Bogaerts. They have Fernando Tatis in right. Jackson Morrell's probably the next guy for them. They have veteran Jason Hayward in left. Cronenworth's still there at second. They have Luis Arraez playing first. There's a big trade that they got him last year from Miami. Elias Diaz is their catcher. They have a young catcher in their farm system who's going to be a guy. But he's a while away. Their rotation's good. Michael King, Dylan Cease, Randy Vasquez. Yu Darvish is on the injury list. That's unfortunate for them. Robert Suarez, good closer. Adrian Morgan was a highly prospect. He's in their bullpen. Wandy Peralta's in their pen. Ron Marinaccio starting in the minors. I think that's a mistake. He's good. Fourth place, 74 and 88 on the season, the San Francisco Giants. The Giants are just in a hard division. I'm sorry. They have some names on the roster, but can they put it together? I mean, their offense is better. Matt Chapman's their long term. They signed Willie Adames. Mike Yastrzemski really hasn't put it together. Wilmer Flores, good little DH. Lamonte Wade's had moments. Patrick Bailey's their catcher. Their strength, though, is their rotation. Logan Webb, Justin Verlander, Robbie Ray, Jordan Hicks, who might move back to the bullpen and land the route. And Kyle Harrison starting here in the minors. So if they move Hicks back to the bullpen, then Harrison could be in their rotation. Ryan Walker's their closer. I like Tyler Rogers too. Twilio Doval's good. Lou Trevino, former Yankee. So yeah, this is a good pitching staff, but Verlander's age and some holes offensively, don't trust him. And last place in the division, 16-102, the other challenger for worst record in baseball, the Colorado Rockies. This team stinks. Stinks. I remember when they signed Chris Bryant, people thought that they were going to be relevant. Nope. And that's a bad contract. He's their DH. I mean, they have Ezekiel Tovar at shortstop, Ryan McMahon at third, former Yankee frontman Thairo Estrada at second. At first, they have Michael Toglia. Jacob Stallings is their catcher, the former Marlin. Pitching-wise, Kyle Freeland, Herman Marquez, Austin Gomber, Antonio Senzatella. I think Senzatella was hurt last year, if I'm not mistaken. Bullpen-wise, Luis Peralta. Some of these guys might get traded. Scott Alexander, Jeff Criswell. Yeah, that team is just horrible. All right, playoffs. Rapid fire. Wild card round. So first of the series is in the American League. AL West winner Texas Rangers against the 6th seed Boston Red Sox. I have Texas over Boston in 3, so I have Texas as the 3 seed. I have the 4 seed Baltimore Royals against the 5 seed Kansas City Royals. I'm going with KC over Baltimore in 3, same result as last time. Casey pitching the difference here with Cole Reagans. All right, National League. I have the NL West winning, NL Central winning Milwaukee Brewers against the 6 seed Atlanta Braves. The Braves are going to have the big two healthy by then. I have them sweeping the Milwaukee Brewers as a 6 seed. And then I have the 4 seed New York Mets against the 5 seed Arizona Diamondbacks. This is going to come down to the Diamondbacks pitching for me. I take Gallen and Corbin Burns over the Mets staff. And the Mets should have went in on Corbin Burns. They're going to regret that one. I have the Diamondbacks as your 5 seed over 4 seed New York Mets in 3. All right, the division round. AL East winning 1 seed New York Yankees against the 5 seed Kansas City Royals. I'm going with the Yankees over the Royals in 5. I think a trade ad will be big for the Yankees. Max Fried's pitched in big games before. If I'm not mistaken, he may have pitched in the World Series with the Braves. We'll see. Yes. He did pitch in the World Series against Houston. That's a big freaking deal. Nobody talks about that. That's a big difference. Yankees sweat it out over KC in 5. And then the 2 seed Detroit Tigers, 3 seed Texas Rangers. I'm going with the Rangers over the Tigers in 4. Lack of experience of Detroit's young core will hurt them, although last year helps them. But Jacob deGrom, Nate Eovaldi, been there, done that. Detroit is one proven pitcher compared to Texas. National League 1 seed Los Angeles Dodgers against the 5 seed Arizona Diamondbacks. I think this is a great series. And I'm going to say the Dodgers over the D-backs in 5. And I think the star power will come through for the Dodgers in a nail-biter. And the 2 seed I have the Philadelphia Phillies against the 6 seed Atlanta Braves. I'm going with the Phillies over the Braves in 3. The Phillies are just a deeper and better team than the Braves. League Championship Series. 1 seed New York Yankees against the 3 seed Texas Rangers. I think Texas is going to go to the World Series. I do. I like this team a lot. And I have them over the Yankees in 6. I think this is where the Yankees will miss Gerrit Cole. And deGrom and Eovaldi, who've had success against the Yankees in the past, will do it again. And then in the National League 1 seed Los Angeles Dodgers against the 2 seed Philadelphia Phillies. This has classic written all over it. This should have been the NLCS last year, but it wasn't. Or we wish it was. Not that it should have been. Could have been Dodgers Brewers. But no. I'm going with the Dodgers over the Phillies in 7. I think home field will matter here. I mean, the Dodgers' experience will matter here. And in the World Series, National League 1 seed, the Los Angeles Dodgers against the American League 3 seed Texas Rangers. I think this will be a good series, better series than people think, and I'm going to go with the Dodgers in 6 over the Rangers because of the star power and Ohtani. All right, awards. AL MVP, I'm going with Aaron Judge. He's the best player in baseball. And I think he's going to have a chip on his shoulder after how last season ended. Runner-up, I'm going to go with Rafael Devers of the Boston Red Sox. NL MVP, I'm going Shohei Ohtani. Best all-around player, you can make a case in the game because of his pitching capabilities. But most certainly and unequivocally the best player in the National League. Runner-up, I'm going to go with... That's a hard one. NL MVP runner-up. I am going to say Juan Soto. AL Cy Young, I'm going with Tariq Skubal. He's the best guy in the game, of course. Runner-up, Max Fried, New York Yankees. I think he's going to be really good. NL Cy Young, I'm going to go with Zach Gallen of the Diamondbacks. I almost went Corbin Burns, but I didn't. Runner-up, I'm going to go with that's a hard one, too. I'm going to go Zach Wheeler of the Phillies for runner-up. AL Rookie of the Year, I'm going with Jason Dominguez of the Yankees. I think that there's going to be pressure on him to deliver but I think he will, and I think it'd be a reason why the Yankees overtake Boston and Baltimore in the division. Runner up for AL Rookie of the Year, I am going to go with somebody that I think will eventually play. And he's on a team that is going to be good. And that is Jack Leiter of the Texas Rangers. I should say, going to eventually pitch. NL Rookie of the Year, I have to go with Roki Sasaki of the Dodgers. Why not? And then runner-up, I'm going to go with that's a good one. NL Rookie of the Year runner-up. There's a lot of guys I could go with. I am going to say that will be Dylan Cruz of the Nats. AL Manager of the Year, I'm going with AJ Hinch of the Tigers. I think the Tigers are going to win that division, and he'll get credit for it. Runner-up, I'm going to say... Runner-up for American League Manager of the Year, I have to say Bruce Bochy. National League Manager of the Year, I'm going with Carlos Mendoza of the Mets. High expectations. They'll come through. Runner-up, I'm going to say Pat Murphy of the Brewers again. AL Comeback Player of the Year, I'm going with Jacob deGrom. A lot of people pick Mike Trout for this, but not me, because I think Mike Trout's team stinks, and Jacob deGrom's team is good. And I think his return to ace form will be a reason that Texas will be good. National League Comeback Player of the Year, it's obvious, it's Ronald Acuna Jr. Runner-up, Sandy Alcantara of the Marlins. But the caveat is here, he might be traded to the American League, so I can't really pick him. But I'm going to say him, and I'll just pick a runner-up in case I think Alcantara goes to the American League. The AL Reliever of the Year, the Mariano Rivera Award, I'm going with Devin Williams with the Yankees. I think he's going to be their best closer since Mariano in his prime. Like, dead ass. I mean, you could argue Chapman that first year when he was electric. And then when he came back as a free agent, he kind of flopped a couple times, although he was somewhat automatic a little. And then the National League Reliever of the Year, the Trevor Hoffman Award, I'm going to go with Edwin Diaz of the Mets. All right. Some surprises and flops. Most surprising or most improved player. Most improved player, I think, will be Jackson Holliday. That's kind of a default pick. But my Orioles coming in second pick had less to do with Jackson Holliday and more having to do with their starting pitching woes. Or not that it's a woes, but it's not as good without Corbin Burns. But I do think the most improved player in baseball this year will be Jackson Holliday. I don't think he'll have a leap like Aaron Judge did from 16 to 17. But I think that he will show massive improvement from year one. From the short time he was in the big leagues. Most disappointing player, this is a reason why I picked the team to come in third. I don't think Chris Sale is going to be as good as he was last year. And I think a lot of people think that in their predictions for the Braves and just getting those two guys back, and they did lose Max Fried. But I just don't think Chris Sale's going to be as good. I won't be surprised if his ERA is over 4. Like, dead ass. Sandy Alcantara, I think, will be traded. The team, I think, that gets him, it might be Baltimore. I could see it being Baltimore. Let's say Baltimore, because they need him. Yankees trade. I think they're going to get Arenado. They're going to be desperate. They might want to upgrade over Oswaldo Cabrera at third base. Although he's had little moments here and there. I could see it being a Nolan Arenado with... I don't think they're going to bring back Sonny Gray. That would be stupid. I could see it being Miles Mikolas. I could see it being like a back-end starter that's pitched in big spots in the past kind of thing. Or Eric Feed. Is it going to be Eric Feed or Miles Mikolas with Arenado or with Ryan Helsley in that trade would be loaded. But they are getting bullpen guys back from injury, so they really don't need another big arm in their bullpen. Maybe Phil Maton's a throw-in in that trade, and I could see going back the other way. Like Roderick Arias, maybe Will Warren, who's going to be in the rotation early in the season, maybe Ben Hess. We'll see. And then in terms of a Baltimore Marlins trade for Alcantara, Chase McDermott has to go back in that deal. Kobe Mayo will probably be in that deal. Maybe Kjerstad. But that Baltimore has the assets to do it. Another guy that I think is going to be traded this season. I do think there's like a Robbie Wright or even Verlander possibility if the Giants are bad, but I don't know if they'll actually do it. But yeah, to me, Alcantara to Baltimore is my biggest trade prediction of the season. I think Arenado with Miles Mikolas to the Yankees for some of their prospects. Another one I think could happen. Luis Robert. I think is a good potential trade guy as well from the White Sox. And I could see the Mets trading for him if possible. And maybe a third team takes Starling Marte in the deal or something. Because they should upgrade at center field if they want to keep Brandon Nimmo in left. But I don't think the Mets have the assets to do it. They would have to give up Carson Bench or Drew Gilbert or Luis Angel Acuna. I could see him being in a trade as well. So that's another one. But like I said, I don't know if it's the Mets, though, or the team for him. And there's a lot of teams that have their center fielders. So the question is, who's the team? I mean, could that be a Tiger? Yeah, I could see it being the Tigers, even though it's in division. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm going to say they trade in division, say it's the Tigers. They have the need. Yeah, let's go with Luis Roberts of the Tigers. Because I do think they need one more bat. And Texas is going to do something too. And real quickly before I end the show, we'll just do awards, odds, and division odds on FanDuel. So, World Series, Dodgers plus 240, Atlanta plus 850, Yanks are 9-1, Phils are 10, Mets are 11, Baltimore 16, Houston, Boston 18, Texas is 19, and that's a drop-off. My favorite long shot, 30-1 or longer, is the Tigers at 30-1 in the American League, and in the National League, Arizona 33-1. League winners, Yankees are 4-1, O's are plus 650, Boston's plus 750, Texas 8-1, Houston 9-1, Detroit's 10-1, so is Minnesota and Seattle, then it drops. Favorite long shot on this board, over 10-1, Kansas City 15-1 because of Reagan's and because of Witt. Then the National League, Dodgers plus 135, Braves plus 550, Philly 6-1, Mets 7-1, and it drops. Milwaukee 25-1 isn't bad. Neither is 33-1 for the Reds. That isn't bad either. All right, divisions. Yankees plus 155, Boston plus 250, O's 3-1, Rays plus 850, Jays 10-1. Explain to me why the Red Sox are ahead of the O's in the division, but the O's are ahead of the Red Sox in the conference odds. The value's on the Orioles at 3-1. If they do the Alcantara trade and the Yankees do nothing, there you go. Although I do have the Yankees winning that division. AL Central, the wrong team's favored. The team I have finishing in fourth is favored. That's the Twins plus 210. Detroit's plus 230, Cleveland plus 290, KC plus 310, and the White Sox 260-1. KC is the value plus 310, so does Detroit, but I think KC is better value. And you could have talked me into the Guardians if they were over 4-1. AL West, the Astros are plus 170, the Rangers are plus 190, Seattle plus 210, Angels are 20-1, the A's are 27-1. The A's at 27-1 isn't a disaster if those guys all mesh. And all those other teams aren't as good. NL East, Braves plus 125, Phillies plus 195, Mets plus 220, Nats 80-1, Marlins 330-1. The value's at the Mets at plus 220. For sure. But if the Phillies were over 2-1, I would have liked it. NL Central, Cubs plus 115, Brewers plus 270, Reds plus 440, Pittsburgh plus 850, Cards plus 950. So they have the Cardinals in last. That's sad. The value, though, is on Pittsburgh at plus 850 with Skeens and Brian Reynolds and that whole group. I think everyone other than the Cubs has value in that division. Or I don't think the Cards really have that value either. Even though I have Pittsburgh in last, they do have value. So is Milwaukee, so is the Reds. But Pittsburgh at plus 850 is my favorite. NL West, Dodgers minus 800, San Diego's 11-1, Diamondbacks 12-1, Giants 42-1, Rockies ridiculous 500-1. They have longer division odds than the White Sox. That's pathetic. That's because of the Dodgers. Diamondbacks 12-1 is the most value. All right, awards. AL MVP, Bobby Witt plus 280, Aaron Judge 3-1, Gunnar Henderson plus 850, Corey Seager 11-1, Vlad Jr. 14-1, then it drops. The value, I think, is on Rafael Devers at 30-1. I picked him as in second, so there you go. NL MVP, Shohei Ohtani's plus 145, Juan Soto's plus 550, Fernando Tatis Jr. plus 850, Mookie Betts 10-1, Bryce Harper 14-1, then it drops. I think the value is on Corbin Carroll at 40-1. I like him. Jackson Chourio on Milwaukee's not bad either at 45-1. American League Cy Young. Tariq Skubal plus 350. Garrett Crochet plus 360. Cole Reagan's plus 850. Logan Gilbert's 11-1. Jacob deGrom is 14-1. Then it drops. I think the value. This is a crazy one. A lot of people have high hopes for Brian Wu of the Mariners at 55-1. So that isn't bad. And I also like Max Fried at 25. Any other crazy ones on the board in the hundreds? Nate Eovaldi, 150-1's a good one. That's a crazy one. How about NL MVP crazy one? Nothing really jumps out at me as crazy in the National League MVP side. Maybe Sia Suzuki at 120-1. And then the AL MVP, long shot, over 100-1. That would be Skubal, amazingly enough, at 100-1. If he has like a Kershaw type of season. National League Cy Young, Paul Skeens is 2-1, Zach Wheeler 6-1, Blake Snell's 10-1, Corbin Burns is 51, then it drops. Where's my guy Zach Gallen at? 30-1. There's my long shot pick. And that's the value pick. And then crazy one over 100-1. I think the crazy good one is maybe Mackenzie Gore at 100-1. AL Rookie of the Year. Jason Dominguez is plus 450 favorite. Kristen Campbell's 5-1. Cam Smith 6-1. Jackson Joby plus 850. Roman Anthony, Jacob Wilson 10-1. Then it drops. Value play, I'd say, is Jack Leiter at 40-1 of the Rangers. I have him in second. And the crazy one isn't really. We're not going to do a crazy one only because it's too unknown. National League Rookie Year, Dylan Cruz is a plus 310 favorite. Roki Sasaki plus 320. Maxwell plus 410. Bubba Chandler plus 750. Then it drops big time. Value play would be that's a good one. Maybe because he's in the Braves rotation, AJ Smith-Shawver at 16-1. And another one I like is Luis Angel Acuna if he gets playing time on the Mets, 30-1. As well as Andrew Painter on the Phillies. A lot of people like him, 30-1 as well. But I think the good value is on Smith-Shawver because he's going to be pitching a lot with Atlanta. And then AL Manager of the Year, Alex Cora plus 350 favorite. Dan Wilson's 4-1. Kevin Cash is 7-1. AJ Hinch is 8. Rocco Baldelli's 9. John Schneider's 10. As well as Bruce Bochy and Mark Coste. Value play. If the Guardians are good again, Stephen Vogt 20-1 is the value play. National League Manager of the Year. Terry Francona plus 320. Craig Counsell's 4-1. Dave Roberts and Derek Shelton are 7. Bob Melvin 9. Dave Martinez 10. Then it drops. Carlos Mendoza 14-1 is the value play. American League Reliever of the Year. Emmanuel Clase plus 250. Mason Miller plus 260. Devin Williams is 5-1. Josh Hader plus 750. Andres Munoz is 9-1. Then it drops. Nice long shot for that. Felix Bautista in the comeback season, 16-1. National League Reliever of the Year. Edwin Diaz plus 350. Ryan Helsley plus 450. Raciel Iglesias plus 450. Tanner Scott plus 550. Robert Suarez plus 850. Ryan Walker 9-1. Then it drops. if he's traded or if they're good, David Bendar, Pittsburgh, 20-1, not bad. AL Comeback Player of the Year. Mike Trout plus 250, Jacob deGrom's 3-1, Felix Bautista 5-1, Bo Bichette 6-1, Shane McClanahan 7-1, then it drops. Trevor Story's at 10. I like, for a long shot for this, Shane Bieber at 30-1. National League Comeback Player of the Year. Ronald Acuna is obviously the plus 250 favorite. Spencer Strider's plus 350. So is Sandy Alcantara. Matt McLean, Brandon Woodruff each 7-1, 10-1. Cody Senga, then it drops. If he puts up the numbers, Chris Bryant's a good one. So is Justin Verlander, 22-1. That's not bad either, but Chris Bryant, 20-1 isn't bad for Comeback Player of the Year. All right, over-unders. Any of these stand out to me is like a fun one that I want to bet on. Oh, Detroit over 83.5, I like. That's a good one. KC over 82.5. Sign me up for that one. Oh, I'm right at the Dodgers' number. That's funny. Over on Milwaukee, 82.5. Here's an under. Minnesota Twins under 84.5. Give me the under. Phillies over 90.5 wins. I like that one. Oh, here's my favorite one, the American League. Under 80.5, Tampa Bay Rays. Oh, give me over 86.5 on the Rangers. Sign me up for that one. And then, team to break MLB record and win 117 plus games. Dodgers plus 630, and it's a drop-off. Alrighty, so there you have it for the MLB predictions show. And we'll look back at this in the summertime and see how it looks, and at the end of the year see how I do. Enjoy.